Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips, which is brought to you by Wellness Forum Health and the Wellness Forum Institute for Health Studies. Today is the beginning of our Prevent Cancer campaign, which we hold every fall. And I'll just give you a little background. A lot of organizations, as I'm sure you know, launch campaigns in the fall concerning cancer. These generally focus on one type of cancer, and they promote cancer screenings as the best way to reduce the risk of dying of cancer. But with one exception, Pap tests for cervical cancer, screening healthy people for cancer does not reduce the risk of dying of cancer or of even developing it. We've always thought that the focus was on the wrong issue and that the better option would be to incentivize people to learn what they could do to prevent cancer instead of finding it early or running the risk through the incessant screening of overdiagnosis and psychological distress and all kinds of problems with screening programs. We launched our first Prevent Cancer campaign in 2018, and since then we have helped tens of thousands of people to reduce their risk of cancer in meaningful ways. And I think this is just such a better approach to public health. Here's the way our campaign works. Sign our pledge and you'll be invited to participate in a live and interactive free workshop that will cover many cancer-related issues, things that I'm sure you're curious about, like how important is it to eat only organic food or to be concerned about food dyes or plastics and many other so-called carcinogens. We'll also give you a gift certificate that allows you to save up to several $100s on conference tickets and the next Winner's Circle series, which is a very exclusive program for people who are really serious about habit change. I'm in the middle of a Winner's Circle program right now, and it has had magical effects on some people. This really, really works. So by popular demand, I'm going to offer it again. Last but not least, you can earn credits, more credits, by asking other people to sign the pledge too. We'll provide cards to you where you can put your name in as a sponsor and pass them out to other people. So if you want to participate in our Prevent Cancer campaign, our approach to public health, send me an email at pampopper@msn.com. I will have somebody in the office reach out to you with the pledge card and other details. And let's make this year's campaign the best and the most successful ever. More and more and more people need to know this. Some things will surprise you in terms of their cancer relationship to cancer and causation of cancer. Some things are not as important as you might think they are. So we're looking forward to sharing all that great stuff with you. All right, so today I want to share an exchange with a subscriber because it's related to cancer, and I think that a lot of people ask about this. So here's what this person writes to me. What do you think about bioidentical hormones instead of pharmaceutical HRT for menopausal hot flashes? It's a good email to answer in conjunction with the Prevent Cancer campaign, as I mentioned. There are several problems associated with taking hormones in response to symptoms of menopause. And the first one is a general rule. And in general, covering up symptoms instead of addressing the cause of symptoms is almost never a good idea. I mean, essentially, that's what today's medical model is, and we see how ineffective and dangerous the practice can be. It's a major contributor to the poor state of health of most seniors in our country because sooner or later, if you don't address the cause, this catches up with you. And it catches up with you through worsening health and also the same problems or the underlying causes of one condition also cause other conditions as well. Thus, we see so many older people practicing what we call polypharmacy, so many drugs. Diet, alcohol intake, and being overweight are three major contributors to menopausal misery. Changes in these areas results in rapid relief. In fact, as I reported a few years ago, some former colleagues of mine published a study showing that the adoption of a low-fat plant-based diet resulted in complete resolution of hot flashes within just a few weeks. This is a whole lot safer than HRT and also results in overall health improvement, reduced risk of almost all chronic and degenerative diseases, not just dealing with the menopausal issue. Another issue with hormone replacement therapy is that it increases the risk of cancer. Studies show that taking HRT doubles the risk of breast cancer, that the risk is higher for women taking estrogen progestin products, and it's always dose dependent. The longer on the drugs, the worse or the higher the risk becomes. Advocates say the risk is small, but it is estimated that about 1 million women have been diagnosed with breast cancer as a result of taking HRT since 1990. That doesn't sound so small to me. And one thing I will share with you is if you are, God forbid, ever in a position to be told that you have any type of cancer, It doesn't seem very small or meaningless to you either. And by the way, when somebody gets a cancer diagnosis and it's due to a drug or it's due to something that could have been prevented, population data doesn't really mean too much. People take their cancer diagnosis really personally, so please take your health really personally and reduce the risk. Now, I specifically want to address the question, which was bioidentical hormones. There's no evidence that they're safer than HRT. The assumption is that they are, but there are no long-term studies that have shown this to be the case. And in most cases, not only do you just not want to cover up symptoms, but the idea that covering up symptoms with natural stuff is better than pharmaceutical stuff, you want to start addressing cause instead of just covering stuff up. It's always a better idea. So all of this intervention with drugs and supplements and creams and this and that should be replaced with diet change, hydration, weight loss, exercise, and so on, which leads to reduced risk of almost everything chronic and degenerative, not just cancer. And one of the things that we teach health professionals in our training program is to pay attention to the breadth of the effect. In other words, diet change that reduces the risk of breast cancer reduces the risk of heart attack and type 2 diabetes and migraine headaches and all kinds of things. So the breadth of the effect is really incredible. And you should not, that should be talked about more. All right, another news item related to screening instead of prevention, a recent meta-analysis just a few months ago, actually, of randomized controlled trials that included over 2 million people, evaluated how much cancer screening actually increases one's lifespan as compared to no screening. Screening methods including mammography, PSA testing, colonoscopy, sigmoidoscopy, CT screening for lung cancer for both smokers and non-smokers, and fecal occult blood testing for colorectal cancer. The conclusion was screening tests do not extend human lifespan, with the possible exception of flexible sigmoidoscopy, which extended life by an average of 110 days. And that's really not very much. I reported a few months ago that average age of death is going down in the United States. In other words, we are losing lifespan by years. I think we're like getting to the top of the list of early mortality. And we're behind countries like China and Venezuela. And so an extra 110 days doesn't reverse that trend, right? You want to live your full lifespan. And screening tests, again, with the exception of pap testing, don't increase your lifespan. They don't mean that you're going to live the full lifespan that your body was intended. And I thought it was very interesting that lung cancer screening didn't even make a difference for people who were smokers. Smokers are often told, well, if you're going to smoke, you're going to be at high risk for lung cancer, so you should go ahead and get screened. It doesn't really make any difference for them either. All right, just a quick announcement and then another news item. Business training for health professionals starts on September 16th. During this class, you're going to learn how to do all kinds of things like how to market yourself and how to price your services and plan and teach great educational programs and develop seminars and sharpen up your presentation skills and that sort of thing. If you want to be in practice, but you're worried about it because you don't have business skills, you should take this class. And if you are in practice and you're not doing as well as you thought, you should take this class. And I'll say this, if you can't afford to take this class, you probably need to take this class because good products and services offered at the right price and targeted at the right market, whatever field you're in, you can do very, very well. I did very well in consumer products and I've done very well in the healthcare business, and we can show you how to do that too. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, send me an email, pampopper@msn.com. And then the last thing I'll mention from a news perspective is, according to Martin Seligman in his book, Learned Optimism, the optimistic person has a lower risk of developing cancer. Here's another strategy for preventing cancer. And an optimistic cancer patient lives longer than a pessimistic patient does. I highly recommend reading this book. It's an older book. It was published the first time in 1990. And first of all, it was written at a time when standards were very high for study design and reaching conclusions when conducting health-related research. Dr. Seligman and his colleagues proved time after time that optimism improves outcomes for everything from bringing up children to career success to health outcomes. And best of all, it's a trait that can be learned. Many people think, well, that's just not me. I'm not an optimistic person. Well, if you want to be, you can be shown how. And we address things like this in Winner's Circle. I really believe that people can change almost anything they want. I mean, I can't change my height. I'm 5 feet 7 inches tall, and that really can't do much about that. But I can change my mind about things. I can change my attitude. You can become an optimistic person instead of a pessimistic person. You can become a lean, healthy person instead of a chronically overweight person. So we address these kinds of things in Winner's Circle. So you might want to consider taking the next series I'm going to offer in January. One last thing, our annual pass membership includes some stuff that you might be interested in. You get a free conference ticket, 4 special event workshops per year. We already did Great Skin Cancer Hoax. That was included for free for the annual pass members. The other 3 this year are fluoride at the end of September, COVID vaccines early November, and hepatitis in December. So it's actually less expensive to buy an annual pass membership and get those courses than it is to buy them a la carte. So if you want some information on that, let me know as well. All right, as usual, thank you for watching, and pass this on to anybody who you think would enjoy learning from me and enjoy this video. Make sure you get involved in the Prevent Cancer campaign. I'm on an all-out campaign in general to keep people healthy and keep them from getting all kinds of diseases, including cancer. But this is the Prevent Cancer campaign. Get involved, ask your friends, earn some points, get some great discounts, and let's see if we can reduce the incidence of cancer nationwide. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'll be back to you on Thursday with more news.